So you feel like you may be having some balance issues, and that's totally understandable. What we need to know about balancing issues is that it's not inherently about strength, but more neurally environmentally driven than anything. You have to recognize that your brain perceives its environment as either threatening or safe. And part of that environment is a functional pattern, say stepping. And when you step, you may step on different types of surfaces. Does your body perceive those surfaces as safe or threatening? Does it perceive your step as safe or threatening? Most of us have a safer or more threatening version of a step pattern that our body prefers. And one way that we can try to test this, is by just simply going into a step pattern just like so. So put your right foot forward. We'll stand here nice and easy with our eyes open. And then we'll close our eyes and see what that feels like. We may notice ourselves wobble or drift. I'm drifting to the right side a little bit. I'm drifting to the left side a little bit. So now we'll open our eyes and we're gonna switch. Left foot forward and we'll close our eyes again. Now, are we drifting to one side or the other? Do we feel unstable at all? If the answer to that question is yes, then we may have figured out which side of our body feels more stable or less stable, right? If I'm on my right side and I'm drifting left, if I'm on my left side and I'm not drifting at all, that would indicate that my left foot, my left step, is the stronger, safer pattern for my brain. So let's run with that example. Left step is strong, so I'm going to do strong left step joint actions. If your right step is strong, you'll do the same thing just on the strong side, okay? Just on the other side. So we're going to go left side first. I'm going to go dorsiflexion, pulling the toes up. And then I'm going to turn it in. 1, 2, 3, just like that. Simple enough, right? Then I'm going to take my hip. I'm going to bend my knee. 1, 2, 3. And then bend or flex my hip. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Last two here. Turn the hip in. 1, 2, 3. And then cross the hip over. 1, 2, 3. Left step is completed on the strong side. Now we're just going to take care of the weak side. Remember again, if your left step is the weak side, you'll do all of those same joint actions on the right. So we have right step here. I'm going to go into plantar flexion, pointing my toe down on my weak side. And then I'm just going to turn it out. So you'll notice these are just the opposite joint actions that I did on the left. Then I'm going to extend my knee, locking out my quad. And then we're going to externally rotate the hip. And then I'm going to extend the hips, take a step back. And finally, I'm going to step out this way. And that's it. I've done extension patterns with my right leg and flexion patterns with my left. If your right step is the strong step, then you'll just do the opposite. If you don't know which side is more unstable or stable, then we'll just do every joint action on each leg. And that will help help the body coordinate itself a little bit more. If you want more info on this, you can go have me assign you the Signal 6 program where you'll be flat on your back doing some of these similar joint actions. It may be a little bit easier to follow along. Now, once we've sort of gotten the lower body engaged, I want you to do one more thing. Since I am left step dominant, I'm going to squeeze my right hand and curl my spine forward just like this. And then come out of it. And I'm going to do that one more time. Curl my spine forward, tuck my head and chin under. Come back up. Last thing, we're going to go lateral flexion. Make sure that right fist is engaged. Simple as that. Last one, I'm going to take my head here. I'm just going to apply a little pressure down on top of my head, telling my brain and my body, hey, it's okay to have movement here, that joint is nice and stacked. And that's simply it. We went through some spinal flexion, some lateral flexion, and a little bit of compression on top of the head. That should be enough for the majority of people dealing with some balance issues to find a little bit of neural activation so that the body feels comfortable with the step technique. The next thing that I want you to do here is to work on your toes and feet. Now, I've said this plenty of times. We want to be as barefoot as possible at all times. If you have socks with grip on them, if you don't feel comfortable going barefoot, that's fine. But socks with grip, maybe some nice socks or shoes that have a very, very thin sole. There's plenty of things out there that you can buy. I wear very thin soled shoes all the time that allow my feet to breathe, allow my fingers and toes, my toes to get nice and open so that my feet can grip the floor. The more closed off our toes are, the less sensation and the less grip and strength that we're gonna have, and the weaker the arch. The wider the toes, the better the arch, and that's what we're gonna focus on here. I'm gonna have you lift your toes off the ground, and then we're gonna scrunch. Now notice when I scrunch, what happens to the arches of my feet? They curl up, it creates a nice high arch. And then we're gonna lift, and we're gonna scrunch. And we're gonna lift, and we're gonna scrunch. And I want you to do that about 10 times, lifting and scrunching, lifting and scrunching. And that is simply it. We're just exercising the feet, getting them nice and awake. If you happen to have an issue with your feet cramping a lot, you may want to do some soft tissue work there to sort of loosen those guys up. What you can do is grab something like this, a trigger point ball, a lacrosse ball, anything that's round and a little bit hard. You can go at the bottom of the feet here and just nice and easy roll through your feet, and that will start to massage the fascial tissue that's at the bottom of your foot, that tissue that actually causes plantar fasciitis, the inflammation of the plantar fascia on the sole of your foot. You can massage through that just briefly and then come back through. So now we're taking care of the tissue and we're exercising and working the tissue. And if you can do this every day, maybe in the morning while you're brushing your teeth or you're getting ready, whatever it is, you can do these toe scrunches, you can do these toe lifts, a little bit of soft tissue work there. You should start seeing some improvement in the way that your feet and toes move and how your body feels. Now, it will take time, and everybody's body takes a little bit different time. What I can suggest for you is, if balance is an issue for you, your number one priority, outside of just continuing to exercise, outside of doing some of these things, is getting a better pair of more natural fitting shoes or socks. If you want grippy socks or some nice thin soled shoes, please reach out to me. I have a ton of resources and plenty of options that I like to prefer to people. Anything is better than some of the tennis shoes or running shoes or clogs or flip-flops that we typically wear. We have to get something that allows our foot to be as natural as it possibly can. I hope you can go through this workout. I know this is a lot of information at the top, but if you'll spend some time doing this over the next few days, it'll start to click with you. I would love to get more detail with you personally, if we can meet virtually or if we can talk over the phone, and that way I can help you understand a little bit more about this sequence and what's going on. Again, I'm going to mention this. This is part of a process called Signal 6. If this was too complicated for you, I have individual videos that are broken down for this purpose.